Okay. Okay. I think we are ready to go. Hi, everybody. Andrew here and Nicole from Givz. Today we have Sam from Tgthr Collective. We're very excited to have her here. Thanks for joining us, Sam.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you guys this morning.
So thanks for bearing with us. We were a little bit late, but I'm excited that we are now live and set to go. And for everybody watching this later on, thank you for watching. We're excited to give you some tips and tricks today. So Sam, let's start out with, how did Tgthr Collective come to be? Where did this all come from? And give us a little bit on your background as well.
Yeah, so my entire background is in marketing. I spent around a decade working at media agencies, working in ad tech, and then finally working in management consulting, where I led the marketing services arm for my firm. And last year, I think like many people, I was working and I was just getting so burnt out. And I was so tired of working on things that I wasn't personally passionate about, or working with brands or companies that I didn't believe in or didn't align with my personal values. And so I decided to leave my firm, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. It's like, I'm just going to go and I'm going to freelance and it's going to be great. And I started freelancing, and I was very fortunate that before I knew it, I had more work than I could handle. Calling friends that I knew in the industry, and I was like, hey, can you help me with this project? I've got this really cool client that I'm working with. And that snowballed in the best way possible into what is now Tgthr Collective. We formally launched last May, so we're just under a year old. But it's been a wild and exciting ride. And I laugh at it because I remember, I'm sure you both feel the same way, but when you are starting in advertising or media, you're like, oh, I should just start an agency one day. Or like, oh, I should just do this. Like really sarcastically, never really meaning it, except for that I actually did it. And so I've had a lot of friends like send me like old text messages or like Facebook messages or AIM chats. And they're like, remember when you said this? I'm like, yep.
I love it. That's amazing. It's one of those things. I've totally been there, done that, where I was like, hey, like this would be. I feel like there's 10 million chats or AIM messages that I said I should do, and never did. But there are a lot of things that now come to fruition, where it's like, hey, there are texts that, hey, we should start something that can do good for the world and do good, in terms of returning cash flow and having returns. So
Totally.
Excited to hear more.
Yeah, and honestly, those two are so connected. Like you can't do good in the world without doing good for your business. Like you can only have so much impact with no money. Unfortunately, that is the society we live in.
So true. So true. And that's something that's a core tenet on the Givz side of things, and on Tgthr Collective side of things too, it seems. But on our side, trying to make sure that just donating money to charity is good in its own right, but it's not sustainable. If you're just continuously donating money, you're going to run out of funds to run your business. So how do you weave these things in together to make sure that you're driving sales while donating to charity, and those things are in a circular motion, driving each other? That's
like fueling each other, because and I see this a lot too, where we will work with companies and they're like, oh my God, I want to be socially responsible and I want to be ethical and I want to donate 1% and I want to be a B Corp and I want to be these other 12 things. And I'm like, that is so great. I'm very excited for you. But like at the end of the day, when you do that, you're having such a small impact in each of those different areas. And if we're able to like hone in your focus and really be strategic about where you want to play and how you want to have an impact, you're going to amplify your effect versus divide it in a million different ways. And so that's something that we always, especially early stage social entrepreneurs, they're very ambitious and they're very excited and I love them. But sometimes you do have to like rein it in a bit and think about, okay, let's talk about how much of an impact we can have, not just where we can have an impact.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it actually kind of dives right into what you're doing and the brands that you're working with, purpose-led brands. That
Yeah.
damn right. so, so would just love to hear, some of the things that you're seeing with these purpose-led brands. What are some of the challenges? I think you mentioned one. We work with I would say almost every brand we talk to in some way, shape, or form is purpose-led. They just maybe are trying to figure it out, right? So we're learning a lot along the way, and we have some takeaways we can share with you too. But I'd love to hear from your perspective some of the challenges or top things on their mind of the brands that you're working with.
Totally. Yeah. I think something that we see a lot is, well, back up for a second. So yes, we only work with brands that have some sort of purpose behind them or give a damn in some way. And things have changed a lot for advertising and marketing over the past year, right? Like a year ago, it was a very different world than it is now. It was very easy to just throw money in Facebook and scale a company, or at least fairly easy, right? Whereas today, that is challenging in a very different way. We don't have the data that we used to have. There's so much competition. There's like 5 billion D2C brands, it feels like, and there's a new one every day doing the exact same thing. So what we're seeing our clients really struggle with is tell their brand stories in a really authentic way, share that purpose in a way that makes sense and is tangible for a consumer, as well as actually be able to then guide them through that purchase journey and use things like sequential messaging and varying creative and different types of landing pages and different ad platforms and all really a diverse marketing stack to be able to tell those stories. And I think that is a big change from, launching a brand a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where you really could put 90% of your eggs in the Facebook, Instagram basket and be fairly successful. And now that just doesn't fly anymore. So getting people out of that mindset and into a more holistic version of marketing and storytelling has been a big transition.
That's awesome. And so you work really closely with your brands on forming that
Totally.
strategy. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. We should talk about that a little bit more too on the side, because we work hand in hand with brands on creative or creating really their social impact strategy, and Givz just happens to power that.
Yeah.
So I think like there is some unique synergies there that we could lean on one another.
I love that. Yeah. And it's such an important part, right? Like storytelling of a brand is so important today, and doing it in a cohesive and understanding way is critical, I think, for a brand to be successful.
Awesome. Well, one thing I would love your thoughts on too is discount alternatives. We really saw it big time with even Q4 last year, where brands started to step up a little bit and wanted to do some things a little bit differently, and it's working. And I think what we're seeing too is that our consumers are open to it also. What are some discount alternative strategies? Is that something that is top of mind? Is that a focus? And what are some things that you're seeing that's working?
I would say definitely 100%, and for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's let's not just give a straight discount because it's hard to hit our numbers, like we need to hit our revenue goals. We need to hit our ROAS numbers. And if we keep giving discounts, then we're just fighting on sales. And that's not what they want to be or why they want to exist in the industry. Second to that is there is a desire for a lot of conscious brands to not promote consumption for the sake of consumption, right? So we don't want to just offer discounts to people who don't even need our products. Mm-hmm. And there's multiple reasons. One, it's not sustainable, it's not ethical, it doesn't align with their values. But two, it means that they're going to have customers that aren't going to keep shopping from them. They're going to have a short lifetime value and just are eventually going to fall off and leak away. And you're spending a lot of time, money, and not making a lot from these customers because you're offering them discounts to have them just leave in that next order. So yes, we're seeing a ton of interest and a ton of conversation around how else can we reach new customers, or even talk to them or attract them in a way that aligns with their values and with our values. And we do see things like either A, not giving discounts at all. B, we see things where it's more aligned with a give back model. So whether it's we have one client who for International Women's Day is doing like, okay, you purchase and then we donate this product and 10% goes to this or whatever it is. And so there's a lot of combined models and a lot of conversations about how can we do this differently in a way that aligns with our values, with our brand, with our overall goals, as opposed to grow at any cost, which is what I think that traditional discount promotion model really supports.
I like that. I like the grow at any cost. That's a powerful takeaway. Yeah. So managing lots of brands, growing your fast growing business. What is your number one productivity hack? I love to know this. How do you stay high performance?
So I've started time blocking lately, which has helped me a lot because I always have 500 million things to do. In any given day, I have like 5,000 Slack messages over here, and like Slack is down today. I don't know if you guys know that.
Oh, yeah. Don't even get started.
Over here, I just keep seeing my like iMessages pop up a million times. And then we have like going on at any given time. So I've started time blocking my calendar and really saying, okay, first of all, Mondays, I don't do any meetings, which is a godsend. You know, Tuesdays from 8:30 to 9:30, I always block off for me to catch up on Slack and emails. And I even make sure I block off time to just take care of myself. So 12:30 to 1:30, I block off for me to eat lunch and walk my dog. So really trying to be more conscious about how I use my time and then focus when I am trying to do a certain thing.
Yeah. I love the time blocking exercise. I'm so bad at it. I time block stuff and then I'm like, oh wait, no, I can just eat into that lunch period and do
exactly
anyway. So like I have yet to find myself to hold myself accountable to those time blocks, but I like the idea of it.
You really have to like hold yourself to it. It's so tough to do it at first. But yeah, once you get the hang of it, it works, but it is hard to kind of break in.
I think it's kind of fluid too. Like I found like my time blocks might be different for a couple weeks and then I might actually adjust it in a couple weeks. But I think the main thing is, like you said, trying to be accountable to it as much as you can, which is not always easy. But okay, as we wrap this up, Sam, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'd love if you could tell everyone where to learn more about you, how to get in touch with you. And also, I love your newsletter, guys. You need to sign up for it. She drops some really, really great tips, and it's super personable. So we're going to drop that in the comments too. But if you just want to let people know where to find you.
Yeah. So I'm most active on Instagram. So Sam is Fierce on Instagram. But you can also find me at tgthrco.com. You can sign up for our newsletter there as well. And I'm always down for like virtual coffees and just chatting about this sort of thing. I get so excited about it. So definitely feel free to reach out. I'd love to chat with you.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Well, this is fantastic. Thanks so much, Sam. This has been great. We will. Oh, there it is on the Instagram. Sam is Fierce. Nice work.
Yep.
This is great stuff. Talk to you all soon.
All right. Bye.